Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations and we are doing a thrift flip. Now, I thrifted a small little chicken lamp. Didn't have a shade, it was dark, it was grungy. I'm kind of trying to drop a picture in here because when I went to edit this video, I couldn't access it. The camera had crashed. And so I managed to rescue a couple of the middle parts of the video. And so I didn't want to scrap it entirely. So what you're going to see when the video picks up is that I have taken the lamp. Oh my goodness, it was like, what did I paint? It was a lamp. So I have taken the little lamp and I did paint it in a clay color. And it kind of picks up from there. It was kind of this nondescript, grungy sort of color. And I had a couple of different plans and a couple of different ideas for it. And then I found the shade. And the shade kind of directed where I went. And that's often the way that some of these projects go, that you may start off with one idea and then it switches midstream, or it takes on a direction that you hadn't planned just because the piece is calling for you to do that to it. And that's kind of what happened with this one. It went its own way. And you'll be happy to know that that camera that I was using has died. It's not going to be used again. So some of the little light flashes that it liked to toss in there every so often, and some of the films that it liked to, I would say eat, but it's not actually on film, it's digital, but it just did that. So it's gone, it's toast. It won't even open. So new systems. Hopefully it eliminates some of the problems, but bear with me. So you've seen the picture of the lamp that I started with. Luckily, I'd taken a shot of it, and I'm able to share that. We start up with it having been painted in kind of a terracotta kind of color. All right, our base coat has had more than enough time to dry. And what I want to do now is mix up a little bit of a glaze. And a glaze medium is something that you can, this one's a clear glaze. You can get, distressing glazes, that sort of thing. This one's clear, which means I can add any color to it to create my own glaze color. And because we're going to be using this metal lampshade, I want to introduce more of that silverized tone to this. Not entirely, but to have some of that. So I'm going to pour some of my glazing medium in, and we're not going to need tons of this. So let me just get my mess done here. And I want to have a couple of damp cloths available. So first of all, let me just clean this off and get this before I end up knocking this all over. This is a clear glazing medium I'm using by Fusion. There are other brands out there. Oh, let's see if I can do this. Okay, this needs a little bit of stirring. Do I have anything? Well, I'll just use the end of a paintbrush, that'll work. Just sometimes, especially metallics, if they've been sitting, then they can kind of separate because you've got a lot of heavy stuff in there. This is brushed steel by Fusion, one of their metallic paints. And let me just see about getting some of the gunk around the lid gone before I start trying to pour out, so I don't end up with any of that gunk going into my glaze. There we go, so much better. Let me get a couple of wet claws again since I used mine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this to our glazing medium. Now the glazing medium looks white, but it isn't. So it dries clear. It's gonna extend the life of the paint, and it will kind of dilute it a little bit, create a little bit more of a translucency, especially depending upon how much of the glazing medium you use compared to the paint. And once you've applied it, you can then take my damp cloth and I can wipe away. So what I'm looking at doing, the beauty of this is that the Fusion is a sealed paint. If I was to use a chalk paint before I would glaze it, I would use a polyacrylic to seal it first. So always important to bear in mind what paint you've used, and that gives you a better idea of the process to follow, if that makes sense, right? If I had used a chalk paint on this, oh, ow, then it would be totally different. But what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at adding my glaze. So I'm pouncing it down into all of those lows there, brushing it across so you can see that it's got a more watery finish here, right? That it's got a little bit of translucency. And then I can take my wet cloth and I can wipe it back. Obviously, I'm going to get more sitting down in my lows. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. So on the main body, I could wipe it back completely while it's still wet, if that's what I choose to do. And here, because all of these little feathers have details, I need to pounce it down in to be able to get that glaze medium sitting down in. So you can see that it's created a much more translucent look than if I had just done this with the straight paint. You could do this with just straight paint, but the glazing medium gives you a little bit more translucency to it. So it's not as harsh, and it still gives me flexibility to add more detail to it after. So I'm going to continue to do this to the entire piece. I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll come back for the next step, because with me, there's always likely to be another step. All right, I want a little more to this. So I'm going to take a little bit of my silver glazing medium. I don't need lots of this, so I'm going to use that as my base. And I'm going to add, this one-handed jar opening thing is a killer. There we go. And I'm going to add just a little bit of my Fusion Coal Black to this. So I do want it dark. I want that black. I just didn't want it as harsh a black. So that glazing medium will kind of lighten it up, make it a little bit more translucent. And the silver is going to kind of gray it out a little bit. Because I had extra of the glazing medium mixed up, it didn't make sense to do this with just, you know, plain black. It's like, use what I've got. Now, what I have got is a sea sponge. This is wet, so I've dampened it up. And I'm just, because this is all relatively dry, I'm just gonna spatter this on a little bit. It's not going to be the last thing I do. So if it looks a little bit mottled or harsh, that's okay. But we're adding a little more texture to it, a little bit, oh my goodness, a little more dimension to it. And that's all that I'm looking for. All right, this has had a chance to dry. I mean, it's dried to the touch. It's not cured yet. And I had at one point thought that what I would do is take like a light creamy white, like an old white Victorian lace by Fusion, and I would dry brush it. But I think that would only work if I was adding a little light cream colored shade. Otherwise, it's going to seem a mismatch. And because I discovered this metal shade that I love, I don't think that's going to fit. I had thought about adding a little bit more black. I decided instead to put the shade on and see how it looks as is before I try and do more, which proves unnecessary or takes it away from it. Now, if you recall, this shade has this kind of a piece on, which means that, you know, the bulb screws down in here. This isn't really designed to sit on top of the bulb. Like, that would be tippy and it would look ridiculous. So usually it would sit right about here, but this is too skinny for this. This, if I take this bulb out, which I need to do anyway, so let's just do that while we're talking about it. This actually goes right down to this level, which means it would sit there. We'd lose our chicken and it just looks sort of silly. So ideally, I'd like it sitting up about here-ish. And to make that happen, I have to kind of add in a platform. So what I was thinking, and we'll see how this goes one-handed, because I'm thinking it would be easier with two. But I have this wire that I figured I could kind of wind around. Now, I have to see if that's fat enough to sit. And it looks like it is. Okay, so, I mean, I just pushed it down. But what I want to do then is just take it out one second layer, just to make it a little fatter. Grab some wire cutters, which I forgot to pull out. Oh my goodness, come on. There we go. And just kind of squish that on so I don't have any sharp edges. Now, just so that it doesn't move anywhere, I'm just going to lightly tack it. Whoops. With a little bit of hot glue. That one kind of bubbled up. We're just going to leave that in place, and then our shade will just kind of sit right up on there quite nicely. And then we can screw our bulb back in. Okay, for our little lamp. Now, I could have started with a base color of gray, and tried to make the base exactly match the shade. I did not do that because that becomes too matchy-matchy for me. But know that if that's the look that you like, then instead of starting with that terracotta color, you would have started with a lighter gray. And then you could have added the silver and the black, and it would have been very similar to what this looks like. What I wanted to do was have something that had a little bit of color to it, not glaring color, obviously, but a little bit of color to it. And then add elements that you find in the shades. So that silver color, like with that brushed steel glaze that we did, add in a little bit of the black that we did with the glaze so that they tie in, they complement each other, but they have, right, they go together, but they also have a unique presence. And I love how this turned out. Again, you could have gone in different directions depending upon the shade that you were going to put on. If we were doing a cream, I probably would have added some cream in. If we wanted to do, you know, like a red shade because that works in our room, I probably would have started with a bit of a red toned undercoat, or I would have had a little bit of a slight red wash in there and then done some of the silverizing and black over top. You always have the option of kind of personalizing these things as they go, not just duplicating exactly the finish that I've done, unless you love it. That's okay then. But I want to give you the reasons behind where I went and why I went that direction. And in this case, it was driven by the shade itself. And I wanted something that was going to stand out on its own, but that would tie in with the shade and that would work. It also gives it more of that aged vintage antique kind of look, which I think is in keeping with our little chicken. So without taking it too kitschy, right? I mean, certainly we could have painted the chicken out in the reds and the greens and the yellows and the, but again, that would have been a long time waiting for a customer for that one, I think. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. Appreciate hearing from you as always, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.